Hi guys, I want to talk today about how to do research faster and better when writing content. So how can you quicker get that knowledge into your head so you can get it down on paper? And I just flew in from Lisbon where I was meeting with a really successful blogger, and that just gave me a lot of good ideas that I want to share with you guys. So one of the things that I do and have done a lot of times in the past when I was about to write a batch of articles was to, you can say, batch some of that research. So for example, at one time, if you've been following my channel, you know that I had a pet site that I sold. But at one point I was writing a whole series of articles about the same type of pet. And then I would go into YouTube and spend a few hours educating myself on all the basic stuff that I didn't know about this pet. And really just spending a few hours or a few nights diving really deep into this and taking notes and such made it so much faster when I was about to write. So you can say I was batching some research and really getting some numbers down and taking notes and getting into the lingo, and that I would say is one way to really speed up your research, is to just watch a lot of YouTube videos. Find a really good channel of somebody that you like to watch, and then just watch a few hours of it. Some of the best content, some of the broad, you can say, overall facts and stuff that you need in order to write these good articles. And that leads well into my next point, is to also batch the articles. So if you could write, let's say, the first 20, 30, 40 or the next many articles around something that's very similar. It could be the same product, the same pet. You'll be able to reference the same stuff. It'll be much easier to do internal links once you start posting them. And of course, there's also this added benefit of creating more of this good topical relevance. Whenever you dive into more articles around the same stuff, Google will see you more of an authority. But you can actually take it one step further than that. Other than just talking about the same product or service, you can actually batch articles that are even more similar. So that could be something like, how fast do bananas grow? And then that can lead up to an article about how fast do apples grow and how fast do kiwis grow. Because now the articles are so similar, though they are definitely separate articles, but they are very similar in a way that you can use the same structure, you can use the same outline, you could even just use that first article as a template for the next ones. So when I do create these batches of articles that I want to test and see if they do well, I typically do like 5 or 10 of them, because you don't want to do like 50 articles about how fast every single fruit out there will grow, because if that type of content doesn't do too well and maybe people just spend like 30 seconds on such a blog post, you never really know before they land up on your site, right? Then you might not create too much of it, but do like 5 or 10 of these and then maybe move on to the next one, and then you can just generate a lot of really good content in a short time. So a few other examples here could be like, how did X get so good at golf? Then you could first talk about how did Tiger Woods become so good at golfing, and then how did this other guy get really good at it, and go through like 5 or 10 different pro golfers. Or another example, why do X swim in circles? Could be like, why do goldfish swim in circles? Maybe there are other fish that swim in circles. I have absolutely no clue. But you get the point. Like, you just switch out one component in the title and then you have a complete different article with other research. And of course, the good thing here is that you have the outline. So you might do some other research, but you have the outline, you know almost what each subheading will be. And another tip for getting better at research and getting faster at research is to learn to love it, because it's something that you're gonna do over and over again. So figure out how you can make this your happy place. I like to bring in a little box of candy whenever I do research. It's just something that I will normally only do if I am doing topic research or researching for a specific set of articles. So treat yourself well and make it something that you can actually enjoy. So figure out how you can make that something that's just way more enjoyable for you. And my next point is to use some of the really good tools out there. So first, you know that I rarely talk about the bigger keyword tools. So I don't use Ahrefs or SEMrush a whole lot, but there are tools that are very, very helpful. Also for the techniques that we use. You know, we mostly use Google Autocomplete, and people also ask in forums and such to figure out what to write about. And one tool that I have touched upon before is the one that Ben Adler did. It's Keyword Chef. I have a video about it. I'll try and put a link in the description. I did a little talk with Ben Adler at the affiliate gathering in York, and he's just a really good guy. And getting to know him and getting to understand a little bit more about the mechanics behind that tool just made me love it even more. So that's a really good tool for doing some bulk research and figuring out what to write about. But then here we're more talking about like topic research, figuring out like the main title of an article, maybe not so much the actual research for the article. But there are really good tools for that part of the topic research and the research that goes prior to creating content. And another tool that can be useful is called Keyword Sheeter. It used to be called something a little different, but it's called Keyword Sheeter. I think it's still free. And it's good for shaking up things and just for that initial brainstorm phase. If you just need to get a lot of ideas thrown at you quickly, that can also be a helpful tool. And then of course, we can't get around outsourcing. So a few times I outsourced some of the topic research for my sites. Whenever I felt a little stuck, I just wanted some fresh angles, fresh ideas from somebody else. There are a lot of folks who offer this service. I think there's even one in my community. There are some people in many different communities, whether you're in Facebook groups or in other courses communities. There will typically be a few people who offer this. And even though you might not be able to use it directly, it can many times shake up things a little bit. Ask them to come up with a few clusters, so new categories for your site maybe, rather than just coming up with actual ideas. So that can many times shake up things and just help you think in new directions. And especially if you're new to this can be a really good idea, because if you are doing your first outlines and your first topics for your new site, you might not be doing a really good job anyway. So any help you can get at this point, if you have some spare money, try and get somebody to help you with this and just see what they come up with and see if it's useful. And then one thing that I don't do when I do research, I don't go into Google and find the smallest site with a lot of traffic in my niche and then try to go after all the keywords. So I don't really believe in karma, but I just hate when people do that to me. Whenever I have a smaller site or a site without a lot of backlinks yet that can be beaten with bigger or meatier articles. So I hate that. So I also don't want to do that to smaller sites. Also, I mean, if you find a small site, so the whole theory about this technique is that when you find a small site with a low domain authority, if you look them up in keyword tools, then if they have a good deal of traffic, you can go in and see what they rank for and write the same articles and maybe take over their positions. So the reason also why I don't do that is because then you know for sure there's already an article out there and it will not be underserved articles, underserved content. So the very best articles for me is still when I can find topics that nobody wrote before, and I still find a lot of those, but I will say I spend more and more time on topic research. That's just how it is because the blogging space is for sure getting more competitive. I hope these tips were helpful, a few tips to get more topics and also the actual research behind each article. Let me know if you have some good tips, let me know in the comments, and I'll see you guys next week.